Welcome to my new studio. Let me tell you how we went from this to this. Okay, so one of the things that my husband and I were really adamant about when we were house hunting last year for our new home was a very good, solid working space for me. So when we found this house with how the basement was divided up, while it wasn't what he and I originally thought we would buy, like we were kind of looking for something with just kind of a more open, larger basement area, having these like kind of divided up smaller rooms actually seemed like a really good fit for my needs because I was then able to kind of divvy everything up into different spaces. You all already saw the renovation for the sewing room and the cutting room.
Optics.
Are they all lined up evenly here? No. Do I care? It's not the most visually interesting space because it's ultimately storage, but it is actually really, really useful so far. I have electric up on the ceiling now. We just changed out the normal light bulbs to much better LED lights. The linoleum floors were an inspired choice. Honestly, I think this is one of the best decisions I've made. While we did have the same flooring installed and we did do the same treatment to the ceiling with removing the drop ceiling, painting it black, it kind of just stayed like this for damn near a year. I was struggling with how I wanted to design this space because I knew that I wanted this space to be my filming studio, but I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted that to look like quite yet. So it wasn't actually until I found the stunning, amazing, beautiful, gorgeous 1780 to about 1820 so good toilet table. When I found this table at Jeff's warehouse in Bloomington, like I was so shocked I dropped my purse and then I was just like involved in this table, like having this religious experience, and then I left my purse like next to it. Like I just walked away, like ADHD. And then it wasn't until like we were on the top floor of the place that I was like, holy shit, I left my purse there. Like that's how much this thing blew me away. And it was when I got that table that I fully kind of settled into this idea of the toilet and being at the toilet and it being a place where people could gather around and you would talk to people. But then it kind of springboarded into the concept of the salon and what that meant, ideas and politics and arts and sciences and like this idea that this, you know, fashionable woman would hostess like this space where she would invite people strategically in order to cultivate brilliant conversations and interesting ideas exchange. And I just really kind of loved that idea. And then I kind of had this like moment where I realized that's basically what we do here, you know? Like, that's kind of what we do, right? I'm the hostess. This is my house, physically my house, but also like internetedly my house. And you all are my guests and you all come into the space. I've picked the theme of what we're discussing and we have conversations about it. And then that kind of like really helped me settle then aesthetically. That's what started this process. It was time to turn the bland bedroom into this space. Obviously, the first step is cleaning out the absolute disaster that was this room. Oops. Oh God. Hello. So today is the official start of the studio. So first step for today is clearing all this shit out because it has become a dumpster fire. Then starting to paint. Pull up my pants. Open. We are using backdrop again for both colors. The white walls are Supermoon, and then the blue walls are gonna be the early stuff. And this early stuff color was just perfect for what I wanted, which is that nice like soft blue that you see in original 18th century neoclassical Adams style homes. I am not as big of a fan of like the French Rococo aesthetic. I'm a really big fan of the Adams style neoclassical interiors. I got this paint because it looked enough like what I've seen in original homes, and I liked the color and I liked that it was blue and it was still bright because I have no windows in this room. So light and brightness, airiness as much as possible was really important to me when designing the space. Originally, we painted 3 walls white. We painted this wall with the wallpaper bright white, where the closet is white, and then what's basically behind the camera and always in front of me white. And I did this in part to help just reflect clean light. So obviously, even though I painted this white, it is no longer white, but I'll get to why I did this later on in the video. Sponsor of this week's video is HelloFresh. I love HelloFresh. I've been working with HelloFresh now for years. I think they create a fantastic product. The meals are always delicious. They have a huge variety to pick from, whether you're pescatarian, vegetarian, you want something quick and easy, you want something kid-friendly, you just want some good like meat and vegetable options. Whatever it is like you're looking for, like HelloFresh has something for you. Absolutely. In addition to just like doing dinners and making your like after work life so much easier, they also have plenty of options for breakfast, lunch, and snacks. So that way, honestly, like if you just cannot handle going to the grocery store because you're too busy, you got stuff going on, or you just simply don't wanna, because I mean, that's valid. HelloFresh can deliver everything directly to your door. One of the greatest things about HelloFresh is also they're extremely environmentally conscious. They work with farmers directly, so the produce that you get is essentially farmer to you. HelloFresh is just delivering it to you, so that way you know your produce is always fresh and delicious and of the highest quality. So if you would like to give HelloFresh a try, go ahead and go to HelloFresh.com and use my code AbbyCox50 to get 50% off your HelloFresh order plus free shipping. And with that, a huge thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to that studio renovation down in my basement while I get some of my vitamin D, because I don't have any. My doctor said so. The blood test says no vitamin D. I think it's because I just reflect it. I hope the ND filter's strong enough. I knew that I wanted a fireplace in this room from the get-go. Like, before I had even settled on a style of room, all I knew is that I wanted a fireplace, because I love fireplaces, I love mantles, and you cannot have a historically inspired space, in my opinion, really without a fireplace. Just so happened on a very fateful early December day, my mom was actually up in Tip City, Ohio, visiting friends, and they were antiquing, and she found this. And thus started the fireplace saga. So I might be a dumb bitch. We're gonna go pick up the mantle that my mom found in Ohio tomorrow. It'll be fine. Let me show you what I've done. I've remeasured, and the fireplace is apparently 5 feet wide. This wall is 11 feet 4 inches. So that means that the fireplace is gonna start about right here. So this will be covered up by wood. Yeah, both of those outlets are gonna be covered by the fireplace, because when they built this room, that's what they did. Now the good news is I had outlets installed in the ceiling. Ta-da! I have a mantle. So this was actually my first time stripping paint off of furniture, and I had watched a lot of videos about it. You know, I'd seen the different options, and I thought that, and seeing the success of Citrus Strip, I thought that this would be the best move for what I wanted. But let's just say I learned a lot in this process, and I made a lot of mistakes. Probably would do things differently if I had had the choice today. Frankly, like, if I really wanted to, I could still be out there like scraping this fireplace with dental tools to try and make it completely pristine. And I just realized, you know, after scraping that thing with my mom basically 3 days straight, and just gobs and gobs of Citrus Strip that is just disgusting, I was just like, you know what? Nah, we're good. We're just gonna embrace imperfection. We got the fireplace like basically 2 months to the day. We finally basically got it to a point where it sort of looked like a Dalmatian, and then it was time to sand. But the amount of work that it took to get it to the sanding point like stressed me out so much that the sanding became like this insurmountable task, so I kind of ignored it for a month. My friend Laura came over. I did not film any of this, and we started sanding it. This all looks great. It's really kind of messy here in the corners just because they're so tight. It's basically impossible to get anything into it.
That's what she said.
And I really, really hate the feeling of sandpaper on my hands. It is not something I enjoy, so. And I'm sitting on a bucket and it hurts my butt. Obviously there's something to be said for bringing something back down to its original intention, its original design, right? We know this thing originally was not intended to be painted because we have these lovely black walnut design accents like purposely put in these spaces of this fireplace. But then it got painted white, and then it got painted blue, and then it got painted white again, and I think probably white again, and probably white again, and then, you know, it eventually ended up just kind of that weird off-white grayish green color. But then when you sit there and you think about it and you look at the paint, and especially since a lot of it was old paint, it's like, I don't really want to get rid of all of it. That's a part of its history. That's a part of its story. Like, someone painted this fireplace bright blue really early on in its existence. And I didn't really want to fully get rid of that. I decided to allow the fireplace to kind of carry the story of imperfection forward into this next existence and this next phase of its life, because obviously it no longer is in its original home. So once the fireplace was actually cleaned off, as much as I was willing to do, then it was time to install it down here, which was an adventure. It actually was easier than I thought it would be, to be honest. I was really expecting it to be a pain in my ass, but honestly, it went pretty quickly. Other than the whole, like, covering up the outlet thing. Oops. The way I finished the fireplace was using Odie's oil. I did some research on YouTube watching different woodworking channels. And when I saw Odie's oil and I saw, one, how easy it was to use, but also the kind of finish that it gave, I knew that's what I wanted to use for this fireplace because I didn't want it to look too plasticky, varnishy. I didn't want it to affect the color of the wood. I wanted it to be as natural and original as possible. Honestly, installing was pretty easy. I was able to actually do it by myself. I thought I was gonna need help, but I really didn't. She's probably a little big for the space, if I'm being honest. Like, this is not a tiny little bedroom fireplace. This is like a dining room, living room kind of size fireplace. But you know what? It's my space. I like it just fine. Then it was the next psych myself out part of the studio, but oh god, I have to go. And I do. Oh my god, just wait till you're done, Cox. Okay. And so the next phase was installing the framing on the walls. Now what this meant is that I had to buy myself a miter saw. You know, I was just intimidated because it's like, I've never really worked with power tools like that. Like, I know how to work a drill, like that's fine. I know how to work an orbital sander, that's fine. You know, but like any sort of like project-based stuff growing up, like I think in part being a girl, was never really allowed near the really dangerous equipment. And I understand, like, trying to keep me safe, you know, I don't really want to lose my fingers. I'm so nervous. But I've measured like 15 times because your girl's a sewer and fabric's much finickier than wood. And I've checked everything. We're gonna do it. I'm nervous, this is my first time doing this. I mean, I practiced. Like, I've practiced. It's just, you know, now it counts. Did it. If you saw my tight lacing for like 12-hour video, you saw that I actually installed the framing while I was tight laced in the corset. Was that my best idea? No. Did it make for interesting video viewing? I hope so. Would I do it in a corset again? No, I wouldn't. But I am really proud of how they came out. I think they came out quite good, especially for it being my first time. Here's where we're at. You know, I knew what I wanted to do with this wall. I knew what I wanted to do with this wall, but then this wall was gonna be white. And then that sofa happened. And then I realized that this room with the fireplace is a lot smaller than my brain thought it was. Honestly, the sofa needed to be in one location. And I was like, well, the toilet table's over here in this sort of very heavy 18th century space. I was like, but this sofa is not 18th century, right? It's not. And so I was like, well, you know, I'm not really into like this
must be historically accurate historic space.
No, it's the fucking YouTube channel, guys. Like, why would I be doing that? That doesn't make any sense. One, I love wallpaper. Two, I had just installed another rifle paper company wallpaper with a black background upstairs, and I adore it. I was like, well, you know, that actually might be a nice juxtaposition of like the super pastel, like blue and brights over here, to then having something with a little bit more depth to it, a little bit more richness to it. So I slapped some black paint from this painting the ceiling onto the wall, and then Laura and I hung wallpaper together. Definitely prefer that as a two-person job, especially when you're doing with paste. Shockingly, I actually found it a lot easier to do and a lot more forgiving in so many ways than doing peel and stick. Like, peel and stick is a really good, like, kind of run and gun, like, just go and do it sort of thing, and then of course you can remove it. But when it came to this wall, like, I'm so glad I did the pasted version. Like, the wallpaper is so much nicer, it just looks amazing, it's so good. And then it was time to decorate. Those of you who were like, why do you have a Jane Seymour painting upstairs? My answer to that is that's just the only one we've ever seen. But I found an Anne Royal Dalton mug thing. But I wish to point out that this is not accurate. They used a sword to do this. So this is an accurate Royal Dalton. So decoration wise, honestly, it's a mix of art that I already have, and just kind of ephemera that I already have, but then also like several antiquing trips. My mom and I spent a lot of time this summer antiquing, as some of my more die-hard viewers will know, because you all watch my vlogs. I don't do as well as like my other videos. We were able to find some really great pieces just to kind of add a little pizzazz to the space. I got some sconces up that aren't always in the shop, but like they're definitely needed when you look at the like wall in and of itself. Some cool like lamps, just some funny stuff. Like my mom bought me like the gin thing because she thought that was funny. Apologies for that, but I don't know what I just said, so we're just gonna keep going. So after all the decorations and everything were figured out, then it was time for lighting, which was extremely frustrating. Oh, I could have gotten a black eye.
Whoa.
I can.
It does go down there.
Yeah. I can. Nope, that's not the light. That's not what you want, Cox. Yeah, this is just, the arm is too long and this is too big. Mm-hmm. So I think the best use of that arm is with that. Mm-hmm. And that's too small for face. So when you're lighting a filming studio, you have to light it differently than you would just like a normal room in your house. Like lighting and sound and camera angles, all of this is just so important when it comes to the creative process and to the filming process, that, you know, being able to do it well, like, can really affect the quality of your video. And I don't have training in lighting. Like, I did not take lighting design in college. I changed my major before I was required to do that. Oops. The way I learned how to do lighting is from YouTube, and also talking to my friend Andrew, who does this professionally down in LA. And what I became extremely frustrated with, and I am calling this out to all the tech YouTubers, all the filmmaking YouTubers. Like, I love you guys. I watch you guys. You guys are great. I have subscribed to so many of y'all's channels, but y'all don't have to have the same fucking lighting setup for every single channel. There is more than one way to light a space. There is more than one way to light a face. Like, every lighting video, guys, is basically the regurgitation of the same damn thing. It's big aperture softbox on your face, headlight back here to illuminate your head, and then a neon light back there. They're like, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. And they're all dudes, and they're all dudes with tattoos, and they're all dudes with like hair and shit. Dudes who want to be like those dudes. It's just dudes. It's dudes everywhere.
A white man? No!
How to get a cinematic effect? And it's like, I'm sorry. Not every fucking movie looks like that either. Like, look, it's no shade, okay? Like I said, I love you guys, but it's not just 20-something, 30-something-year-old white dudes who are on YouTube. There are different types of people out there and we need different options and we need to learn. So anyways, that was a struggle. I knew how I wanted to light this space and I was having a hard time finding exactly how to do it. I want to give a lot of credit to Sarah Dici and I want to give credit to Lila.
That I was actually accentuating parts of my face that I didn't want it to accentuate, such as pimples or like little wrinkles or something. And I spoke about this with some of my female creator friends and they all felt the same way.
They all had good videos and addressed women having different lighting wants and needs than men. When I talked to Andrew, he was able to kind of give me a rough idea over what I needed to do to make sure that the space was illuminated in a way that I was comfortable with aesthetically for like just the space, but also how it made me look.
7.5.
Yeah.
7 3/4. So. All right, I'll cut the bolt rod 6 inches.
Okay.
I'll try.
Yeah, when I bought them, I was like, oh, they'll be orange and easy to spot, and I didn't realize that they were prison orange.
Yeah.
So.
That they are, dear.
Yeah, I don't wear them out.
Yeah.
They're just meant
to. Where'd you do time?
Yeah, I know. I told you about the time I had a roommate who got arrested naked in the basement of the Williamsburg police station, right?
No.
I am very uncomfortable with the energy that we've created in the studio today.
The slop and the threads.
Yeah.
I ain't worth shit.
So you put the bolt. Oh.
Do that. Do that. We'll just leave that one loose till we get it in there.
Yeah, and then we can zhuzh it.
We'll make this shit happen.
Oh my god.
How about that? We might have to move it out this way more. Is that cool?
If you move the ratchet, can you tilt it up or down?
Like
No.
right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can roll it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it'll
I
work.
think it'll be okay.
Is that angle cool?
Yeah. Oh god. Jesus. So all that I have on right now are basically just kind of lights to help create depth of feel. The one that we're missing here, just real quick, is an Amaran MT Pro. That one is supposed to make it look like I have fire. It just gives the vibe of fireplace. That's all that does. The next light I'm gonna turn on for you guys, my hair lights. So this is actually meant to kind of illuminate the back of my head to kind of give separation and depth. My 200X. So you can see, I think, probably how, yeah, like this side of my face is kind of shadowed here because I just have this light shining in, like I'm facing the light directly here. So if I turn my head, this should be relatively in shadow. It's not really the vibe that I like. So I have another one here and see how now I'm illuminated. So that way it doesn't feel like I'm in a cave. So this hair light is actually on a boom arm, which I really like. And it is movable, so I can twist her around. She also can go up and down, and she can go in and out. The other thing that I did was I made my own acoustic panels to kind of help with the sound. And so those are just acoustic foam braid adhesive onto 2x2 like plywood. And then those are actually screwed to the joists of my ceiling. So I have a few that's kind of scattered throughout. The one thing that I would definitely do differently is I would have had my electricians install a master switch that would cut the power to everything in this room. They offered to do that for me and I was like, nah, I'm fine. That was really dumb of me. I control these lights mostly by my phone, but that doesn't actually cut the full power to them. But they're also a total pain in the ass to like climb up and turn off like manually because the switch is all the way on the back of the light. But other than that, like No, I genuinely don't think so. I really love this space. I'm really, really happy with how it came out. I don't know if I really have a favorite because I mean, this room is basically filled with favorite things. Like this room is unashamedly me. Like, you know, this is the space of like, okay, Cox, like if you can put anything in a room, what do you know, put in? And so like having this wallpaper, but having the bright pink and white floral wallpaper in the same room, you know, this fireplace and having this mantle that's covered in sewing paraphernalia and art and ladies magazines that are in books and Anne Boleyn and sewing magazines and fashion magazines from the 19th century. It's just, this feels like my space, you know, and I really, really like just how I feel when I come into this room. I feel successful when I'm in this space. I feel happy when I'm in this space. I feel peaceful in this space. I feel in charge when I'm in this space. I think, you know, pushing myself to work on the fireplace, you know, as someone who is like getting more and more interested in like DIY and home renovation and home decor stuff, like having this fireplace, having the picture framing on the walls, hanging the wallpaper. You know, I did so much in this room, having so much in this space that pushed me and made me learn things, and then having that feeling of success of figuring it out and doing it myself. I'm really, really proud of myself. And I love this space and I'm so happy it's done. If you like hanging out with me, go ahead and subscribe. I upload every other week and we talk about history and fashion history and dress history and sometimes home renovation stuff now, guys. And with that, I'll see you all back here next time with another video. Goodbye. Okay, so I had this roommate when I was doing my summer internship at Colonial Williamsburg, and he was like a junior at William & Mary. And he got really drunk one night because we decided to play beer pong with rum, because that was a good decision on everyone's part. And then he like disappeared from the bar, and then he never came home. Very long story short, he ended up having to walk back to our house, which was right next to campus, wearing prison shoes because he was arrested in the basement of the Williamsburg police station, butt ass naked, because he got so drunk he blacked out and decided to break into
The jail.
the jail. Not the jail, the police station.